What's up, money lovers? This is Vinny from the Investment Club, and if you enjoy the video today, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Cathie Wood is one of the best investors of the modern day, if not the best. She has an uncanny ability to invest in the companies of the future while everybody else focusing on the short term or the past. Let's listen to some of what she has to say.
Ark is a global investment firm, and we are focused only on disruptive innovation. That's our sole focus. We believe that investors are missing out on some amazing opportunities out there just because of how the traditional financial world is set up. It's very siloed, specialized, in a world where technology is permeating every sector and innovation platforms are converging. DNA sequencing, robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology. These are the 5 major innovation platforms today that are evolving at the same time. We have never seen this amount of innovation evolving at the same time in history.
This is one of my favorite ETFs. I've been following it for a very long time. I actually started taking an interest in it last year, and I watched it go all the way down to its March 16 low, where it was sat around $37. I didn't buy any at the time because, we were in the heart of the pandemic. There was just so much uncertainty. No one knew what was going to happen next. And then I watched it every day as it continued to climb and climb and climb to where it is today. Ark Invest is not like your typical investment firm. They really are solely focused on where the world is headed and what key technological innovations are going to drive that future. If we take a quick look at the Ark Invest website, you see that their sole focus is on disruptive innovation. The market has a very short-term view of things, and this is especially true for Wall Street. They're only focused on quarterly profits and quarterly revenue numbers. They don't have any way or interest really in looking at the long term. They're not interested in long-term investing. They just want to make as much money as they can from quarter to quarter. And this short-sighted view of things leads to the majority missing out on huge future potential of companies like Tesla. That's a perfect recent example. The market is easily distracted by short-term price movements and thus loses focus on the long-term effect of disruptive technologies and their potentially limitless upside. Ark seeks opportunities that offer growth over 3 to 5 years that the market generally ignores or underestimates. So this is exactly what we saw happen with Tesla. There was a long, flat adoption curve while there was a lack of understanding. One could put a price tag on electric vehicles or whether they were even feasible. Forget about autonomy, and I'm still getting used to this split adjusted price chart here. It keeps throwing me off. Look no further than Ark's return over the past few years. I mean, their philosophy has clearly panned out for them so far, and I think it will continue to. We live in a society that is constantly changing, and with technology advancing faster than it ever has, it will be difficult to apply the same old principles when so much can change in the day-to-day. Many companies that have been around for a long time have already started to and will continue to go bankrupt while these new and highly innovative companies continue to take their place and swallow up market share. Here's a list of all of Ark Invest holdings, and for today's purposes, I just want to do a quick rundown of the top 10 holdings. And if you want to learn more about any of these companies, let me know in the comments below and I'll do an in-depth analysis of them in the future. So if we take a look at the bottom here, you see that their top 10 holdings make up over 58% of the total weighting of the portfolio. This obviously brings with it some risks, but then again, if you look at the S&P 500, there's about 5 companies made up of FAMGA, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon that make up over 20% of the market, just those 5 companies alone. Now, I don't think I need to explain what Tesla is, but if you're interested in learning more, I have a few videos you can check on my channel about Tesla. So the second largest holding is a company called Invitae, and what they do is basically DNA tests, use it to find changes that can potentially lead to diseases. So this is proactive healthcare, which I think has a lot of potential. Now this company has been on quite a run, and while it has been increasing its revenue here, if we look at the graph on Yahoo Finance, you can see that they are losing a lot of money every year, and in 2019 they lost $240 million on revenue of $216 million. The next company on the list is Square. This is another one of my favorite companies, and it provides payment and point-of-sale solutions, primarily geared toward helping small businesses to grow and manage their business. If you've ever been in a small coffee shop, you've probably seen their little payment stations. And every time you swipe your card on one of them, Square is getting 2.75% of the transaction cost. They offer many other services, including touch-free payments, as well as helping promoting businesses and giving out loans to help grow a business. It's a great way to keep everything centralized. It enables companies to operate with far less overhead, keep everything centralized in one place that's easy to keep track of all the bills, taxes, profits, payroll, and it helps the company to grow and expand their business. Square's technology also enables them to give out loans faster and with a better success rate than banks because they have all the data from the business. They know how much they're getting in sales and what they can afford to do, so they can give out loans more accurately without having to go through the entire background check process that a bank might have to. It's just a much more efficient process. Square also owns Cash App, which is very similar to Venmo. You can send and request cash and transfer it to your bank account. It also has a ton of other awesome features. There's a cash card, and you can even buy stocks in Bitcoin through Cash App. Roku is involved with streaming services and devices, and you've probably heard of it. This is definitely a crowded field, and I feel like they have a lot of competition. Crispr Therapeutics is a gene editing company. It would fall under the areas of DNA technologies, and Ark's focus on the genomic revolution. And I'm not even going to try to explain what this company does because it's way above my pay grade. Next up is Proto Labs, which is a really cool company. It fits Ark's category of industrial innovation. They do 3D printing. All right, so for the last four companies here, we've got Zillow, 2U, LendingTree, and Slack Technologies. So Zillow is a great way to buy, rent, sell your home or real estate online. You can also create 3D home tours, and they have financing options. 2U is all about online higher education with the focus on graduate programs, and obviously a lot of people in higher education right now are already taking classes online, so I could definitely see this trend sticking around and more people moving to online education. And last but not least, we've got LendingTree, which, big surprise, yes, they're involved with lending. They give out home loans, personal loans. So all of the companies I listed in one way or another fit into Ark's 5 promising areas that Cathie Wood discussed earlier, having to do with the genomic revolution, manufacturing and industrial revolution, next generation internet, and fintech. I highly recommend you listen to some of Cathie Wood's interviews. She tends to be right more often than not. So what is my take on Ark Invest? I think that it has a lot of promise. Most of the things Cathie Wood and Ark Invest predicted have come true. They said that innovation thrives during crisis, and that if there were a big crisis, all of these companies would swallow up market share and just grow that much more. That's exactly what happened during the pandemic. All these companies have been doing great, hence Ark Invest stock has gone way up. I think that this will continue, and if you're a long-term investor and you've got at least a 3 to 5 year or even 10-year time horizon that you're looking at, I think that Ark could be a great fit in your portfolio. It can help diversify you as well as give you exposure to some of these very unique and fascinating companies that all specialize in a very specific niche. I also see it as a good way to get exposure to companies like Tesla and Square, which you may be more familiar with, without having to pay the high premium that comes with their current valuations, and also help act as a safeguard. You're getting a giant chunk of Tesla, let's say, by buying Ark. You're paying $90 a share versus $400, and you're getting a ton of diversity too with a lot of other great companies that I think have a very bright future. So I will continue dollar cost averaging in. My current cost basis is somewhere around the $85 range. I've been buying as it keeps going up, and I will continue to do so. If you have any questions or you want me to do an in-depth analysis on any of the companies I discussed today, let me know in the comments below. That's all for today. This is Vinny from the Investment Club. See you next time.